In this lesson we'll be taking a look at Carlton by Skyhooks off their classic Living in the 70s album. The opening riff, played by the rhythm guitarist Bongo Starkey, goes like this. So it's a riff that gets played over the E chord, B chord, D chord, and A chord, and the lead guitar parts that Red Simons is playing correspond to those chords as well. The way that we play Bongo's riff, we're starting with an E power chord, hitting that 3 times. 1, 2, 3. Then I'm playing single notes. 4th fret of the very top string, 6th string, and 2nd fret of the next string down, 5th string. And that bar over the E sounds like this. We're then going to a B power chord. You don't have to move your first finger, it's already in place from the previous part. Power chord shape at B, 2nd fret, 5th string. Hitting that 3 times. Then I'm taking my 3rd finger from the power chord, sliding it from 4th fret to 6th fret, and then using my first finger to play at 4th fret on the 3rd string. So that bar of B will sound like this. Moving to the D bar next, where we're using a power chord once again. I'm hitting your open 4th string and 2nd fret of the 3rd string. If you know your D open chord, it's the top 2 strings you'd hit. What he does here to finish out the bar is a hammer on, 3rd fret, hammering on to 4th fret, on the 4th string. Then finishing up on 2nd fret, the A, 2nd fret, on the 3rd string. And then doing the exact same thing but lifting it up a string, so it gets played over now an A power chord. Exactly the same thing you just did for D, taking it up a string. And refer to the tab that I've put up on the Skyhooks fan page on Facebook for an easier detailed explanation of the frets and the strings. I'll play that verse riff or intro riff as well one more time. So now let's look at Red's lead guitar part over the verses. The easy thing to remember about this is it's the same finger pattern, or chord shape if you like, for each lead guitar part. So our first shape, 12th fret. Most guitars have double dots at 12th fret, so easy to find. 12th fret on the very first string. And then 13th fret on 3rd string. So you're skipping a string apart. And what I was doing was sliding that top finger 12 into 13. All that you need to do for the next bar is take everything up a string. From that pattern, move everything back 2 frets. And then the exact same activity, 2 frets back. He does add some extra things in there. They are sort of improvised. But the essential things you need are those chord parts. Another way you can play it as well is just at different fret positions. And the notes that you're getting are straight out of the bar chord. Mentioned earlier, we've got the chords of E, 2, 3, 4, B, 2, 3, 4, D, 2, 3, 4, A, 2, 3, 4. If you know your 6-string bar chords and your fretboard on the 6th string, you'll be able to find those. I do like the tone of keeping it on the strings that I've done it on as well. So the structure of this song is a little unusual. It doesn't have a real verse, chorus idea. What we've got is a verse idea followed by an instrumental section. The riff of the instrumental section that Red plays goes like this. So what I'm doing there, 7th fret and 9th fret, and you've got dots on your guitar usually to help you find those frets. 7, 9, 7 on the top string, 6th string. Then I'm using my pinky to jump out to 11th fret. And I heard a great story about Greg McCain when he was writing the songs and the riffs for the songs, that he used to like to throw things in where Red would have to use his pinky because he hated using it. So I think that's why we've got that positioning appearing here. Same 3 notes that start the next section. Now I'm going to 9th fret on string 5. 11 on string 5 for the first one. 9 on string 5 for the second one. 9 again, but this time dropping it down a string. So 9 on 4th string to finish the 3rd section. 11, 9 on 5, 9 on 4. And then to finish out the riff, going to fret number 7 on 4. They then repeat the first 3 sections. instead of, in the third section, moving down a string, staying on that 5th string again. So 2 5th string enders in a row. 5th string at 9. And to complete the instrumental part for Red, 9 on 5, more 9s, back to the 7, 9 on 6, 7 on 5. Grab the tab, because that will be a lot easier to read the tab numbers there than probably going off the verbal instructions. There'll of course be the close-up section straight after the video as well. That completes Red's section of the instrumental. Bongo's part is chord based and stabbing away in crotchet time for the first playthrough. Crotchets are 1 note per beat. So if our timing is 1, 2, 3, 4. And it gets a bit funkier in the repeat. Now that's relating to our earlier chords once again. The chords that go through this section are still an E chord, B chord, D chord, A chord. Skyhooks, not a band though, just to have a strummy guitar part. They didn't do that too often in their songs. They would make clever guitar orchestrations where Red is playing a riff and Bongo's chords this time are backing that up. So, how I get that shape? We've got an E bar chord here, 7th fret of 5th string, in major chord shape. He's sliding his first finger to cover 9th frets, and then I'm taking 12th fret and 12th fret with my pinky on 1st and 2nd string. So I've got 12, 12, 9, 9. What I'm also doing is bouncing my finger pressure on and off the fretboard to make it choppy, as well as chopping the notes off with my left hand as well. Right strumming hand, I should say. Then for my B chord, what I've got is a C chord shape. Literally slid all the way up the fretboard until it would be creating the notes of B. And forming a bar chord behind that. So that C chord would literally slide all the way to 14th fret up the fretboard. What I need to do though is have my first finger act like this piece of the guitar does, the nut of the guitar. So that is creating a bar at 11th fret, and then I'm placing a C chord shape in front of it. E chord shape, B chord shape. What I'm doing for my D chord shape next would be the bottom notes of the D bar chord that you find at 10th fret on 6th string. But I don't need those heavy bass notes, I just need the 4 strings at the bottom of that chord. And then for my last chord, the A, same as what I did for the B. just 2 frets back on the A. So we're getting E shape, B shape, D shape, A shape through there. And keep it choppy to make it nice and funky. Next up we have the bridge section, or what I'll call the first bridge section, which has these chords. E chord as a bar chord, D chord 2 frets back from E, A bar chord 5th fret of 6th string, and then back to E. So this section of the song has got the lyrics that go, when the sun sets over Carlton and you're out to make a deal, check out who you're talking to and make sure they are real. Each chord is being sustained for 4 beats. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. And it repeats. That would be Bongo's part of this bridge section. What Red does is play some lead that relates to those chords. He does sort of change what he plays from the studio version to live versions. So what I've written out on a tab sheet for you is the typical thing that he does. And that's got that fantastic sort of tremolo pedal effect that's over it as well. I'll try and simulate that now. So the E. It's certainly a lot choppier than that, but I think you get the idea of the effect there. The shapes that I'm doing, playing over the chord of E, the first bar, I've got a pinky at 12th fret, and then my first finger at 9 and 9, string 2, string 3. I'm keeping that pinky there for the next bar, which is played over a D chord, where I've added to that pinky on 1, 10th fret on 2nd string, and then 11th fret. Mostly coming from that, once again, that D bar chord shape, notes out of there. Next up, I've once again kept that pinky note down, 12 on 1, 10 on 2, once again, 10th fret, 2nd string, and back to my 9 on 3rd string. Which means all I have to do to get back to the first shape, the E shape, which is the shape that will also finish this section, is take middle finger out and flatten first finger out. Playing those chords once again. E, D shape, A shape, E shape. He then improvises a few things like... I haven't put that on the tab sheet. What that is though is 9, 12 and 12, and then picking those notes in really whatever rhythm you like. Or whatever pattern you like. The rhythm's constant. And that would be bridge section 1. Bridge section 2 has got this rock riff, follows the pentatonic scale of E. please go and learn what the pentatonic scale is. Guitar players, if you don't already know, lots of Skyhooks riffs follow that pattern. Here's what the riff sounds like, and everyone in the band is doing this, even Greg on bass. And in that silence, that's where the vocal is fitting. So let's break this down into two groups of three. The first three notes of the pattern, I'm going 9th fret, 4th string, 9, 7, down a string, and then back to 9. 9, 7, 9. Then I'm dropping a string. I'm now at 9 on 3rd string. To start my next collection of 1, 2, 3 notes. 9 on 3rd, 7 on 3rd, 9 on 4. So the two groups of three. First group, second group. And when you put it together, the next part, 7 on 5th string, followed by 5 on 4th string, and back to that 7. 7, 5, 7. Refer to your tab to remember what those strings were. Then I'm dropping straight down, 7 on 4, 5 on 4, finishing back at 7 on 5th string. First bunch of 3, 7, 5, 7. Second bunch of 3, starting on 4th string, 7, 5, 7 on the 5th string. One more time, in full. Initially there's gaps for the vocal, and then what they do is join everything together and repeat. In the outro, you've got Bongo doing this awesome, really rhythmic, funky boogie riff. Sounds like this. He does that right from the start when he does a live version. Studio, on the Living in the 70s recording, he sort of slowly builds into all the notes that are in the riff. As in, he sort of starts grooving on that 7th fret on the 5th string. Before he adds in the full. I'm going to go straight to showing you what the full riff that he plays is. So we start with the open 6th string. Once again, we're playing over an E for this whole section. And then we're playing the octave of that E by hitting 7th fret on 5th string. So we then hit 9th fret, top string. It's great that you can use your dots once again to find these frets. And jumping back to 7 after that. The first 4 notes. We're then going to move to 10th fret and coming back to that 7 on 5th string once again. 10th fret was on the very top thick string. The notes so far. We're then going to hit 9 on the top string. And then 10 on the 5th string. A recap. He then plays pretty much the same kind of thing to finish out the 2-bar pattern. Those notes, every second note is a 7th fret on your 5th string. 7, 9 on 6 right up top. 10 on top string. And 9 on top string. 7, 9, 7, 10, 7, 9. And finish back at the 7 on the 5th string. Easier probably to grab the tab and follow the explanation I've just given you in the video. The important thing here is getting that really cool boogie groove, and you're muting with your picking hand as well. What Red plays over that section is soloing. You can use your E pentatonic scale, minor pentatonic at 12th fret on top string, or on 7th fret of the 5th string. And he starts to go to town as the section builds up and gets louder and busier. That's the whole song. Here's the intro verse riff that Bongo plays. The lead guitar that Red plays in the intro and the verse. 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. The instrumental section, Red Simon's guitar part, going up to 7th fret on your top string. Bongo's part. The bridge section, Bongo's part. Bar chords of E, D, A, E. Sounds like this. When the sun sets over Carlton and you're out to make a deal, check out who you're talking to and make sure they are real. The red part. When the sun sets over Carlton and you're out to make a deal, check out who you're talking to and make sure they are real. The second bridge, the unison riffs. Mongro's outro boogie. Good luck playing, everyone.